Hello, everyone. As promised, I'm going to provide you this video recap about our workshop in Fonterra. And thanks again for HRINZ and Fonterra, offered a great place for for us to have a meaningful discussion. And then this link, Biplay link is still available for you or your friends or colleagues want to fill in the diversity and inclusion pre-workshop survey, because we're going to take these insights to design the most updated workshop to overcome your challenges. So much appreciated if you could share it. Agenda on the day actually was set by you guys, because in the survey you actually told us those are your current challenges, and we're going to focus on that one by one. So you also tell us what does success look like to you. So I pick up the top 6. The first one is very practical. That means you are a group of very practical people. And then we want to use inclusion initiatives to create solutions for operational issues. And that is how I actually see how we can use inclusion. We can further develop it, because if we can help our different teams and then to solve their problems, they definitely going to have more buy-in. And this actually was reflected in your survey, because you also feel it's not so much buy-in. And then very interesting thing is the second most important thing is the emotional connection, created through all activities at all levels. And that's why you probably remember I give you a little Chinese candy, the big rabbit candy, for you to have a try and then share with us what was your feeling. Of course, it's not a super tasty one, but it's probably super expensive in New Zealand if you buy one, because it's about 4 times of a normal candy's price. But we then discussed this emotional connection. What does a little candy mean for a Chinese? For me, it is a memory, because at that time, not many people actually can buy this. You have to have certain tickets, as we explained in the workshop. And China was really poor at that time. So whenever I got a few candies like that, I feel like, oh my God, this is just a taste of God. It's like, I never had this before, and then now I can have like 1, 2, 3. And how I'm gonna eat? I'm gonna eat like one per week or one per month, and I'm gonna keep it. Where do I hide it? So those kind of emotion, it was like some kind of a childhood memory, always with me until today. When I feel sad, when I feel upset, when I feel like a bullied and unfair, I just pick up a pack of the candy from the local Chinese supermarket, and I just taste it. It's not a super, the most candy you want to taste, but definitely bring you back to all those warm memories. So it's like emotional connection I have with my family, with my dad, with, my friends who share this candy. So that is what I mean by, this is the emotional connection, but also for a country like China. And this is also emotional too, because in 1972, US President, Mr. Richard Nixon visited China when China was really poor at that time. And then this pack of candy is the official gift, one of the official gifts to the president from US. So as you can see, how this candy played a role on a diplomatic level, and then on many levels, it played a very big role to build emotional connection. So a little candy means the taste of home, a comfort or reminder of those who love and care about us. And I even remember someone said, a taste of home is always a long way to remember where you're coming from. That's super correct. That's super, emotional connected. So now we actually discussed how we can use this emotional connection, a taste of home, in your business, in your organization, to create business goals, to increase employee engagement, attract the best talents, to build trust with your employees and customers, and even facilitate a curious and a creative culture in your company. So you guys remember you did this live survey, and here are the results. And then most of you, actually over 60% of you chose the, build the contents for internal comms, because that's a great story. Everyone probably have different story about a taste of home. So by sharing it, you really can actually connect with other employees that we want to share more about that. So it's a great way to, for those kind of employee engagement and a connection. I think in the survey, 59% of you said the challenge in the action leadership is the lack of employee and management's buy-in. So that's why I normally in my workshop, I would take at least half an hour to an hour to facilitate a process to let all the employees to come up with those ideas. So not me suggesting any ideas, because a good idea is not a good idea if it cannot be implemented well or does not have a good buy-in. There is no actually a bad idea in my view. So if an idea, is agreed by a lot of your employees and then super motivated employees, then it is a good idea, because you can have a lot of buy-in in implementation. And then if the idea can be turned into reality, that surely will make an impact in your company. So you just need someone to guide the team to facilitate a good process for them to come up with probably a good or better idea. That's all you need to do. And then that's why sometimes when you see there's an idea come from an executive or a CEO, you all think, oh, that's fantastic. But when you try to implement it, it just hardly got any buy-in. So that's the problem. If we want to drive action leadership, we need to have more buy-in, and then we need to have more insights about people's ideas, and then more reach to agreement. And then probably that's why 70% of you think the current implementation is not very effective. And then I actually just, I've done some, studies around the globe and also did some interviews. And then this is how I kind of concluded. This is the reason. And then mainly the reason behind it is try to be politically correct. But we are dealing with people. You are dealing with people. You all know people have some human nature. And then the first human nature, why the bias reduction currently, even around the globe, if you look at US and Australia, and some organizations have already moved away from unconscious bias training. And the reason being that is when a program is designed to address the problem of bias, it will automatically, generate a negative feeling. So bias is deeply in most people's patterns of thinking. That is attitude. Attitude is very hard to change when it is associated with negativity. So you can eliminate bias simply by outlawing it. So that's why positive emotional connection is more likely to create an attitude change. Control the policy reinforcement. So when people managers have too many boxes to tick in the D&I, diversity and inclusion space, it's very hard for them to allocate time and energy to care about what people really feel and focus on the attitude change. So as a result of those controlled tactics, companies sometimes can still win the industry award and gain media attention in the diversity and inclusion space, but it doesn't eliminate their chances to, getting trouble or legal lawsuit. And one of the recent example is the famous New Zealand law firm Russell McCann has been awarded the Best Gender Diversity Initiative by National Firm Prize for its success in implementing and supporting diversity and inclusion initiative in 2017. However, in 2018, the company was found as sexist culture and poor handling of claims. So that's just goes to show, you can have a lot of boxes, to be ticked, but it doesn't mean the true outcome or the true feeling from people is aligned with, whatever you have achieved. And authority view and on should and shouldn't. The truth is, you all know, most people don't like being told what to believe or what to do. So should or shouldn't doesn't really do anyone like a very good favor if you want to achieve attitude change. So emphasizing, such as, I'm talking about example, emphasizing the value of ethnic diversity can also have an unfortunate side effect of amplifying those tribe tendency. Many studies have shown that when countries pursue multiculturalism policies, many people become more racist and towards immigrants. One of the most recent New Zealand example would be Phil Goff banned two far-right Canadian speakers to use council venues for their New Zealand speaking events. But they are coming anyway, right? We all know that. So as ethnic minority, I totally, I like his approach because he's like defending multiculturalism, which is like strongly representing me, right? But my question is this the best way to build an inclusive community? If it is, why there are a group of New Zealanders behind a free speech campaign actually successfully raised over $50,000 to take Auckland Council to court on that. So I think you are all here today not to judge what is right, what is wrong, but we are looking at effective approach with less confrontation and conflicts. Most of the training program deliver the message of difference among people are valuable. That's totally true, by the way, and also it's political correct. But when you're looking at the human nature, and when you're asking yourself, if I actually try to teach you, all the differences among different, 200 ethnic groups in Auckland, and then there are so many things to learn, will that overwhelm you? Does that make you feel welcomed? If the training is focused on those kind of different, learning those kind of difference. So that's why I always design my training based on similarities. So such as emotional connection will actually connect us all together across cultures, rather than what actually is so different, between you and me. And the grievance system, I think I don't need to discuss it, more in details, because you all know that practice, whether it's practical or not practical, there are so many, case studies in the world and can prove that. So now we're talking about what is the effective action leadership. So this is basically only, my test and learn experience, and then I conclude those. So it's to draw people together, draw people in, similarities, non-differences, and then it's more information doesn't create a better outcome. I could give you so many strategies from the past experience I had, from business growth, partnership, people strategy, but psychologically, it doesn't do any good. So if you could remember one thing from today's workshop, such as emotional connection, and apply that in your day-to-day practice, I think that probably will be a better outcome. Value group insights and the voice from outspoken individuals. That's what I did in this workshop. I asked you all to fill in a pre-workshop insights, because I know not everyone is outspoken like a CEO, like an executive. So that's why I need all of your, everyone's insights is valuable. So how can we do that? There are different ways of doing that. So this is my way of doing that, always in my workshop. I want to have all my attendees' insights before they come to my workshop. And personal growth in positivity and creating creativity is always more important than learn from your problems. I think we explained that in the bias reduction training, why. And relevance driven, outside box thinking. This actually is really kind of resonated with the question you guys answered. What does success look like to you? So I'm going to use some of the examples which we didn't have time to cover in the workshop, but now have the chance to cover it in the video recap. So for example, in the recruitment, and I'm going to give you an example. In IAG, we try to, in our 2016 graduate program, we try to increase the cultural diversity in our graduate program. So what we did, we all we don't know whether it's going to working or not. So we use the minimal budget to test this idea. So here is the result. So we engaged Chinese social media called WeChat. Probably some of you have heard that before. So this was April. Was my our like a graduate program. So the only thing you probably can see here is the you can see the second graphic. So we use graduateconnection.com and also IAG career website. And what you can see is WeChat, the traffic from WeChat actually was greater than Seek.co.nz and LinkedIn. So just to goes to show you, you know, what we normally think is a recruitment, you know, a website or social media is not what your target market think. They don't use it. And so by doing that, and we also did some promotions, you know, on WeChat. So that's why we can get this great results. So by doing that, we learn like to attract the talents we want. We need to communicate the way they like to be communicated. Employee engagement. I'm going to play you a video, and this probably going to answer some of the questions. I think some of you have asked me before. You made a comment like, "Oh, Shelley, I don't know why, you know, our Asian employees are always very quiet. I don't feel like they're telling us the truth. They always keep a lot of things within, and then they don't really share, and then the way they speak is very conservative, and then in a meeting they hardly you know speak up, blah 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 blah." And then, well, there are two sides of the story. Definitely there is your employee side of story, but here the video gonna probably show you what you can do to help them to be more engaged.
Lucky, I have a really supportive manager, and I still remember the conversation we had the other day. I was really frustrated, you know, when I first started a job, and because my writing wasn't as good as I wanted to be. And of course, she can tell, like, she's really professional. But she approached me in a very, very positive way in that aspect. She's saying like, "Oh, I understand that it seems like you are experiencing a bit of writing challenge here and in your current role. And sometimes I just forget. I just take it for granted for how easy it is for people to write. But from my perspective, I studied journalism, I studied English literature, I've been working in like newsroom for years, so it's a second nature for me. But I think for you, you're already really good. And every day from now on, you can only get better, not worse. And that was really, really encouraging for me. And then she said, but you know, if you really want to speed it up, and I'm happy to actually have a chat and see how we can help you to achieve where you want to be. And it's a very nice way to say that. Actually, it's a very nice way to say that you need some help in writing. It's delivering the same message, but in a much, much better way and positive way. And I still feel a bit, you know, uncomfortable and ashamed about that. But in another way, I'm really influenced by her positivity. And I was like, yeah, sure. You know, I do understand that I have a lot of in this area. So let's talk about how we can fix that.
Okay, so this is an example to show you, you know, this girl, as you can tell, is very outspoken. So she was not, you know, not as she said, as ashamed to talk about this, but a lot of Asian employees, they are ashamed to talk about what they are not good at, and then, but her manager's approach is really inviting. So once you have a manager style like that, actually it can lower our, you know, kind of defensiveness, and then actually I can share something true about myself with you, with the framework to say how we can actually, you know, co-create something to help. And I think this is like an example, like how as managers you can help those employees. But as I mentioned, this is like a two-way straight. So that's why I also have a workshop called Survive and Strive. That's mainly a career coaching program for people who are coming from the ethnic background. because myself come from the same background, so understand where they're coming from, and that's why I can like use their psychology journey to design something tailored for them. And here is one insight called a minority mindset. Minority mindset somehow is harmful for a minority employee to strive, and then to overcome that mindset, we need a lot of work. And so this is a video just going to show you what is minority mindset. And this lady actually is very brave too. So it's actually telling people like us to how to overcome that.
Once you put yourself in a minority mindset, you feel like you need help, you need someone to be there to push you out of it. But why can't you fight for it? Why can't you go for it? I mean, it's difficult, but you have to be the one pushing your way through instead of people trying to pull you up the stairs. So I think it's half and half. So the minority need to start thinking that, oh, I'm the minority, I'm the one in the situation that's not in my favor, and I need help from someone to make this happen. I do think that New Zealand is a very fair country, and a lot of the workforces here are very fair as well. So it's basically taking out of that mindset that we are different. So make yourself the same, make yourself on par, make yourself having the ability that puts you in the same level of competitiveness to the mainstream.
See, that's exactly what I try to express. So, and also reflect to what you guys has mentioned in the survey, because 64% of you think the biggest challenge is the underrepresentation of the cultural diversity in the senior leadership and boardroom. Why? There's so many reasons. One is this mindset playing around in your ethnic diverse employees' mindset. The other one is probably their manager's approach to them. And you've just seen two videos from both angles, two real case studies. So it's hope, that's why I actually in my workshop I actually discuss more in depth how to help managers to build that more engaging approach, and how to help employees from that community to strive to see themselves as part of mainstream, and so you can create the same success as all others can do. And then leadership development is also one of the things that I'm very focused on. In fact, those are the photos, are the initiatives I did in IAG. The first one, the gentleman you can see here wearing a glass, he's still the current CEO of IAG in New Zealand. And then I designed a program called the Diversity Media Familiarization Program. So in this program, senior executives, the CEOs, we go into the community. But when I say going to the community, it doesn't mean we ask them to attend a lot of community events because they are super busy. It's impossible to do that. So then I try to figure out, where are the most insights coming from? And then how can I get my executives and the CEOs to go to a community where they can get a lot of super diverse insights about this community and how we're going to engage with them. Then I think about media, because local media, they interact with their community on a daily or hourly basis, through news, blah, blah, blah. And then so who knows better than the local media? That's why we actually we went to visit different local media, different ethnic media. We also invite them into our boardroom. As you can see for the third photo, we discuss the different topics. So by doing that, we actually create the mutual beneficial learning from differences to similarities. It's not just us, like the organization learn from the media, but media also learn something different about us. And then by doing so, we actually emotionally connect with each other better. So, and then we also facilitate this kind of curious discovery and also joyful conversation as well. As you can see, people are very engaged in boardroom. Okay, we talked about recruitment, employee engagement, and thrive and strive for ethnic diverse talents, and also leadership development. So you probably can tell, all my workshops are focused on the relevance creation and result driven. So that's why I call myself, I have a PhD in results. Why? Just briefly about who I am, a Chinese New Zealander. So I come from the same journey as for your target market. So I can actually analyze it and then through my whole journey and also interview other people about the same kind of stuff. And also I have to work in different countries and different industries. So that's give me a more kind of insights about people across different cultures. And then for some of the track records listed here, it's not all of them, but I just kind of pick and choose. So you probably can tell I have a strong, I have a strong advantage in developing business growth. But because I actually, through this journey, I noticed that how important the talents are, how important the employee engagement are in relation to create results. So I also have a very, in-depth passion about the people and the culture, because I believe that's what drives behind the business growth and media branding. So having those business growth and the business the culture. So my 8 years media experience really helped a lot in interviewing top leaders and then being a war correspondent and then doing a mass media campaign for New Zealand government. Really gave me the exposure to a lot of people, to a lot of different mindset, and then so I can actually marketing the product very well and consulting. So over 300 New Zealand organizations over the 16 years actually give me a diverse commercial kind of a knowledge about what they really want and what is the pain point they actually had. So that's why I actually got be selected as a finalist for Woman of Influence Award in the diversity category in 2006, and also was the winner of Deloitte 2011 Chinese Business Figures Award. So you might probably ask, yeah, I understand you're saying you are running your own business now and you had achieved a lot in the past, but you still don't have an HR qualification apart from being a certified professional coach. You're right. So if those results are not relevant to you, so there's no point for me to actually, to share with you this video. So my question for you is, do you find it difficult it's difficult to understand your diverse working force? And then that means you need a bridge. So my 8 years of working media experience, trained me how to talk to people's heart. Not just to talk to people's heart by asking the right question. The problems that you are facing in the workforce actually was the battle I was facing as an employee. So that's why I can, share this. I can also develop into something meaningful for you. So who would be a better person than me to come up with a solution, for your problems? And although we are in the people business, but ultimate goal is to create growth and trust through people. So that's why my business and branding experience also can add value to you. Lastly, but not least, I'm not from your industry, so I don't have the baggage you have. Therefore, I can challenge every one of you with outside the box thinking, and that thinking was the one you actually want to have. 50% of you actually think we need to embrace a different thinking. So here I am. So here is my company, Transformational Journeys. So 3 things we can do for you is we do diversity and inclusion test and learn workshops. So both on business with a business focus or people focus. I do career coaching, as I mentioned before, for those ethnic diverse talents. And I do relevance and result driven program. I'm going to tell you more about that later. So, but we're going to just review our agenda as we said before. So those are the challenges, you are facing. But also 70% of you said, not enough action leadership. The reason why I think you've already listed here, lack of buy-in, lack of accountability, and not enough embracing a different thinking and underrepresentation of cultural diversity. So all this you need someone to help you to drive this, to make you accountable for your action, right? So what if I tell you there is a program actually covered all you need listed here and provide you the option to going forward? So I designed this program just to turn your ideas into actions. So what is the core program include? It's a 10 weeks mentoring and coaching program. So we do 1 hour every week online. And also for the accountability, which is the most crucial part, is I do checking with you, I'm monitoring the progress with you, I also documenting the process with you, and then because through, as you guys experience through survey, all this kind of things, I'm going to just hold you accountable for what you are doing and what you want to achieve. And I also provide unlimited support for your problem solving and for your test and learn guidance through call, email, social media. So it's just you are getting one-on-one weekly coaching with me. You also get unlimited support, from me. So I think this is probably the best value you ever had, because I understand a lot of people, like, sometimes it's implemented and suddenly I just have a problem and I don't know how to, but I don't want to pay her another hour to fix this. No worries, I give you this peace of mind by providing you unlimited support. What's even better, I give you the program bonus, is the group support and accountability on Facebook or WeChat. The thinking behind it is a lot of you, if you in a group, doing all the different action leadership initiatives, and then you can see how others doing that, and then give you kind of pressure. And also it's the group holds the group accountable as well, not just the me. So once all the different people or organization are start to looking at action leadership, they start to help each other, and then through in a social media group, and then we actually can see that, and then the pressure and then the diverse thoughts from the group, and all this kind of the ideas and questions you can learn from your group, because sometimes you may not be able to think about this question, but others did, and then through them asking those questions, you also benefited from it. So that's a great benefit in a group. And many of you have experienced, the desire of learning WeChat. So I thought, I give you the option of Facebook or WeChat, because the best way to learn how to use WeChat is by using them. So that's why I give you the option that's, you can choose. And the second one is the industry discussion, because in this group, we're going to talk about different diversity and inclusion test and learn. And then the lesson we learned, and then the failure we got, and then how we're going to overcome that. So that actually create a shared learning point. And then for some people, they might doing similar things. They might start to look at, can we have this cross-organizational collaboration? You wouldn't get it if you are not in a group and knowing what others are doing. But now you are in this group and you know what others doing. You actually give you kind of inspiration, think, this is a more collaborative approach, might be a better approach. And you have free access to my workshop. So all this, how much it is normally going to cost? The core program is normally $3,000 for 10 weeks. And then the bonus program is valued at $1,000. So altogether, it's valued at $4,000. But what I actually want to work with you is I also want to drive the action leadership in this industry. So that's why I'm offer a very special price. It's $1,200 for 10 weeks. So actually it's about, $120 per coaching section, but you get all this kind of things on top of this. So I think it's a great bargain. This is not just saying to discount my own services. It's just to show my commitment and my passion. I want to walk this journey with you and drive the action leadership in this industry and in New Zealand. Okay, if you are still not sure, so I'm going to ask you this question. How much are people's potential, team's productivity, and the company's competitiveness worth to you and your organization? And then $1,200 for 10 weeks. It's for you to actually know there are different ways, different effectiveness, strategies, different actions, different learnings, and different collaborations to achieve those purpose. So think about it. $1,200 for 10 weeks for all about this. So whether it's worth it and how much is worth it, you will have the answer. If you want to know more about my services and how I can help, feel free to give me a call or look at my website shelleyhuang.co.nz or transformationaljourneys.me.